This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is working tirelessly to upgrade and renovate government medical facilities around the capital and on the Family Islands, including the Princess Margaret Hospital and Ryan Memorial Hospital and the South Beach Clinic. Health Minister Dr. Michael Darville says this is in an effort to better prepare the country to handle a fifth wave of COVID-19 should it arise.
We toured the Ryan Memorial Hospital. A portion of the hospital renovations took place under the former administration. But there's another section of the hospital where nothing was done. And then we walk through the action emergency and we look at the wear and tear that is associated with Dorian. And so there has to be additional work there. But we did go out for requests for proposals for a morgue for the Ryan Memorial Hospital and some additional space. I believe that would be in probably before the end of the month so that we can move swiftly and award a contract. At the Princess Margaret Hospital, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I spoke about the morgue renovation that's going on. We need now to move to Male Medical 2, which has been gutted, and we need to get some additional bed space. We need to do some remedial work at the Princess Margaret Hospital, and we need to ensure that we are able to provide the services at a better standard and to work hard to ensure that the patients who come to the facilities have the kind of experience we would like them to have.
Dr. Darville also spoke to the need to increase manpower and improve response times to medical emergencies on the Family Islands.
We have been to just about every clinic in the Family Islands. I've indicated that the Ministry of Health and Wellness have 2 loan facilities from the IDB. Part of it is for infrastructural upgrade. I'd like to say that fortunately in Cabinet, after looking at the manpower deficiencies throughout the Family Island, the ministry brought a paper and it was approved for additional staff. And so I'm pleased that we will begin to improve the manpower resources throughout the Family Islands. We need to do a better job with emergency medical services, on-ground transportation, and better coordination because some of the islands, the clinics are far apart, and we need to make sure that we have a better response mechanism on the ground in the event for any type of accident or natural disaster. We need to be able to respond better. That is being done.
In addition to stabilizing infrastructure and increasing manpower, the health minister touted the need to equip our healthcare facilities with isolation pods to ensure health officials can easily and effectively manage any potential future outbreaks of infectious diseases. Cases of depression and anxiety have risen by nearly 25% in the region of the Americas in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. This much coming from the Pan American Health Organization Global Burden of Diseases Scientific Briefing. Director of PAHO, Dr. Carissa Etienne, sounding the alarm that more needs to be done to protect the public's mental health as the world continues to battle COVID-19.
As you know, mental health was already a serious problem in the Americas. A problem as far as access is concerned, a problem as treatment, a problem in terms of the support, social support for these individuals. And it has only grown with the pandemic. So our new scientific brief that was based on global burden of disease data shows some early evidence of the pandemic's impact on mental health. In the first year of the COVID-19 pandemic, global prevalence of anxiety and depression increased by more than 25%. The greatest increase in depression and anxiety were found in places that were highly affected by COVID-19.
Dr. Etienne notes that females are recorded to be more affected than males, and younger people aged 20 to 24 years old were more affected than older adults. Additionally, people with pre-existing mental disorders, particularly severe ones such as psychosis or bipolar disorder, when infected with COVID-19, have a higher risk of COVID-19 related hospitalizations and death.
The increase in the prevalence of mental health problems has coincided with severe disruptions to mental health services, leaving some really huge gaps in care for those who need it most. We are especially focused on the impact on our healthcare workers who really have suffered unprecedented burdens in caring for people with COVID-19, and in many cases, not being able to save them. And while at the same time, taking care of households and dealing with the fear of infecting their families. The scientific brief found that exhaustion in healthcare workers, loneliness, and a positive COVID-19 diagnosis increase the risk of suicidal thoughts.
Dr. Etienne laments that there are still too many people unable to get the care and support that they need for both pre-existing conditions and new mental health issues. She urges countries to prioritize mental health care and to open up primary health care facilities. New COVID-19 infections in the country continuing on its downward trend. The Ministry of Health and Wellness confirming just 11 new cases in its latest dashboard for Monday, February 28th. 7 of those new cases on New Providence, 6 with a history of travel within 14 days, 2 cases on Abaco, 1 case on Grand Bahama, and another on Crooked Island. Total confirmed cases in country now at 33,146. 16 people are in hospital with the virus, 14 of them moderately ill, 2 in the intensive care unit. Now active cases have gone from 5,000 plus to a little more than 250, as health officials note that due to a data cleaning exercise using prevailing scientific data, the number of active cases has been reduced. Current scientific data reveals that when a person contracts COVID-19, the virus quickly replicates. After 3 to 4 days, there is a decreasing amount of virus present. Those with mild or moderate infection lose their ability to transmit the virus within 10 days after the onset of symptoms. Persons experiencing severe illness or have immune-compromised systems lose their ability to transmit the virus after 20 days. With this new information in mind, patients on the active list before February 9th can be considered recovered and will be removed from the active list. Persons currently on the active list are considered recovered using the date of the onset of their symptoms or their positive RT-PCR test. As a result of this data cleaning exercise, active cases, which currently stand at 5,934, will now be reduced to 254. The COVID death toll remains at 771, with 43 deaths still under investigation. Today is the last day for the request for proposals for purchase of the Grand Lucayan in Grand Bahama. Acting Prime Minister and Tourism Minister Chester Cooper told reporters today that there has been significant levels of responses.
The process doesn't close until 5 p.m. today, so we don't yet have a formal briefing. But based on what I've seen, there are several what I would consider credible responses that we have already received in relation to the acquisition of the hotel. I suspect that over the next few days I will receive a formal briefing, and when we do so, I'll have more to say perhaps next week during the budget debate at the House of Assembly. Hopefully I'll be able to give you a little bit more specifics at that point.
The government has been actively seeking to sell the property since walking away from the deal proposed by the Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, or ITM Group. The government is seeking to sell the resort for $150 million.
We are committed to seeing a transaction on this hotel, and we are committed to it beginning in the shortest possible time frame with a developer and a partner who has the long-term vision at heart for Grand Bahama. So should we have a proposal that fit those criteria, we're gonna do a transaction in the best interest of the Bahamian people and the people of Grand Bahama.
The minister-led administration bought the Grand Lucayan Resort for around $65 million in 2018. Jones Communication Network's Operation Love Your Country continues on its annual mission to educate and inform Bahamians on the importance of keeping our environment clean and healthy. This year, the focus is on climate change, and this past weekend, Operation Love Your Country sought to plant more trees in the fight against global warming. Dorino Saunders tells us more.
As the month of February came to an end with the unfortunate news of illegal cutting of sections of pine forest in southwest New Providence, JCN's Operation Love Your Country continued its mission to do just the opposite by planting as many trees as possible around New Providence, helping to make the island beautiful and assisting in the fight against global warming and climate change. On Saturday, Operation Love Your Country planted a number of trees on the community park in Montel Heights, just off Robinson Road. Kara Mae Brown, a community leader with responsibility for the upkeep of the park, was grateful for the new plants and pledged to continue her work in the community.
I feel so good. It makes me feel good that you all came here and brought the plants, and oh Lord, it made my day. I love beautification. I love everything around me. Through the corner where I live, I love to beautify everything.
And of course, we see your home has won the Best House in Montel Heights Award several times. So you brought that beauty to the park as well.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to continue on doing it until I die. And I beautify Robinson Road, and I will always do it. That's what I love to do. That's my passion.
A few members of the community, including businessman Ray Morrison and community leader Lady Di, believe and support the initiatives by Operation Love Your Country as we battle global warming and fight to keep the Bahamas clean.
And our main motto at Showman is we are community. And so coming in and understanding what the initiative was all about today, it just made perfect sense for us to be here and lend our support. There is a global issue and a global concern as far as climate change. We here in the Bahamas, we're in the thick of it, so to speak. And so to be able to take an initiative like this that supports the climate and putting more oxygen, planting more trees and allowing for more oxygen to be in the world today, to get rid of to release the gases and to offset the effects of that. Again, this is an initiative that everybody, every single Bahamian should back and be behind. So again, we're here just in support. It's our first time, we just heard about it, but we'll be here, it won't be the last time.
Yeah, well, I was doing this from like 2007, 2002. National Pride winner 2005 is a love for community. I think we should let it be like our ministry when we're dealing up with our community. And let's let a candy paper disturb us in our environment.
JCN's Marketing and Public Relations Specialist Kurt Knowles thanked the community members and sponsors that make it happen, including Rocky Farms and Richie's Lawn and Garden, operated by Richard Ritchie, who tells us more about the types of trees planted on Saturday.
So we have 2 bananas, cherry tree, and Barbadian Ponciana. So the Ponciana will provide flowers, beautify the area, and the kids will be able to pick cherries off of this tree probably in a year, and the bananas will provide fruits. So what we need to do as Bahamians, landscaping I love landscaping, but we also need to incorporate fruits, vegetables in our own yard so we can feed ourselves, because with the way the economy and everything is going, we are not sure how it's going to affect us in the future, and so when we're able to self-sustain ourselves, we're in a better spot.
We understand the government is seeking to improve the appearance of roundabouts throughout New Providence and is hoping many of the roundabouts will be adopted. Mr. Ritchie says Richie's Lawn and Garden is open to the idea.
We hope to be able to adopt one roundabout and show how it's supposed to be done, set the standard, and then everybody else hopefully will follow.
As Operation Love Your Country continues throughout the month of March, again, you are encouraged to keep your yards and neighborhoods clean. Do not dump furniture, appliances, and old cars indiscriminately. Eliminate mosquito breeding habitats and plant more trees. Jareno Saunders, JCN News.
Well, that does it for news this evening. Once again, I'm Tyler Simonet, and from all of us here at JCN News, have a good evening, everyone.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.